And again, apologize ahead of time. I feel like most of y'all know the drill. Might be a little long-winded, but today is definitely going to be. I'm excited to share some of the insights from Balanced Forces, the last one that we did over in Port Moody. Um, so it's gonna be a little bit different for the information session. We're gonna kind of go through what went down in Port Moody, and then talk about the next exhibition kind of lightly. Uh, the next information session that we do is gonna be like the official one for the launch of that exhibition. So um, yeah, so that's kind of the idea, and then we're gonna go into some studio, and I really want to leave it open to a lot of questions. Uh, that's really the goal here too. Is like any questions you might have about the platform, studio. I might do a little demo if you all want it. Yeah, but yeah, let's jump in. What's up, JBR? Good to see you. Uh, and let me share my screen here.
Yes, Booster about see, and it's great to see familiar faces.
There we go. Let me know. Let's try it. Not quite sharing yet. Give me a second here. There we go. Okay. Cool. We are live. So yeah, today is going to be a chat, kind of like a recap of Balanced Forces Port Moody, and it's a discussion about what's coming up with Balanced Forces New York. So yeah, real quick, just a bit about us. So we're an augmented reality platform for creators to remix the world around them. Where our technology can be applied to murals, storefronts, geolocation, and even one's face to be the canvas for experiences and artwork and storytelling. So we've had the opportunity to work with an amazing suite of partners across different brands, hospitality, artists, record labels, the whole 90 arts. And yeah, we've been in the game for some time now. So my business partner Tim and I, we've been in immersive. I mean, Tim's been in immersive tech longer than I have. He's been doing 3D for about 20 plus years, doing 4 visuals for like Paul McCartney and Coldplay. And then I've been in the AR space for the last 6 years, specifically helped launch Spark AR back in 2019. And then we've both been working on illust we launched in 2020. And one of our first collaborations with MF Doom, which garnered a lot of visibility and just awareness for the idea of augmented reality NFTs and Web3, which is a key infrastructure of our technology is the blockchain. But it's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm not sure if you all heard the news recently, but Adobe Aero is going to be discontinuing their service. And so we had basically Metaspark RIP beginning of this year, and now Adobe Aero RIP starting November. So the importance of decentralization and the importance of content ownership and these kinds of things that we've been talking about for a while have really manifested and really right in the forefront. And it's also really painful for creators, especially since Adobe Aero had a lot of the ecosystem, a lot of museums have been using it, a lot of different galleries have been using it. So yeah, so I'm not saying that we're the panacea for decentralization or for, creating a standalone AR experience, but we're trying to get there. We're trying to be that. And it's really part of our mission is to get to a point where we can have like a truly decentralized on-chain AR scene that doesn't require any sort of gatekeeper, including us, to be, in the one that's dictating how things are going. So we're not quite there yet, but we're working towards it, one day at a time. But so let's jump into the Balanced Forces, a little recap. So we so from July 20th to just this last Sunday, Balanced Forces was live at Port Moody. A lot of y'all participated in it. Super pumped and appreciate y'all for doing it. It ended up being what blew my mind was that it was truly global. We had folks from all of these countries submitting art, having works that were geotethered, including Canada. I mean, there's from Malaysia to Kazakhstan, Germany, shout out Sven, Scotland, Iran, Indonesia. I mean, yeah, it was really really something to behold, that we could have this like global cooperation and collaboration. And then being able to provide that to those stories to folks that were in Canada at Port Moody. So pretty excited about that. And then looking at the tech and education side of the coin, like we did five weeks of AR workshops, kind of similar to today. This will be a little bit more high level, but yeah, that ended up working out, and we had quite a lot of great questions and ways to kind of continue educating around the new technology. So moving into the next part, so the map that was presented for Port Moody, this was a curated map. So using our system, we can curate specific maps. So it's the Balanced Forces map for Port Moody. And yeah, there were I think close to 100 works submitted, but then narrowed down to this is 45. Actually, that includes the local. There's a local exhibition that went down, which is the Port Moody only group. But yeah, so they used this kind of like MapMaker Pro feature of our platform to curate that. And here's a quick visualization of some of the works. Definitely not an exhaustive list, but the trail really came to life, and like going into the experience from those that were on the grounds. Some publicity that was on global news, but then also we had there was also a bunch of video content that was shared around of like folks going through activating the experiences and navigating around the art walk. So let's kind of let this video play out. And yeah, and then we had so like in total the campaign, like all around and just like a visibility. I mean, there's over 100,000 engagement or views across all of social media impressions across X and IG. We didn't necessarily get Farcaster into the mix this time, but we're gonna definitely try and go for Farcaster. I don't know if you all are familiar with that platform, but basically Web3 social network. It's really gained a lot of steam in the community, but yeah, our target's to try and get in the mix there. But yeah, we sent over 31,000 emails with 16,000 email opens, so a little bit more than 50%, which pretty stoked about that. And then part of that's also apologies for spamming y'all if it was a little overkill, but it came out that people were relatively stoked, so the feedback's been okay. And then yeah, we had overall we like the recap show. There was close to 300 visitors who had visited the show and streamed it. And then we had basically 250 posts across social media. So really big footprint, really trying to be active, really trying to get this out there. Like this is a new technology, so there's a lot of hand holding and a lot of just learning. So that makes sense. And the numbers on site just absolutely crushed. So 700 plus visitors to the augmented reality art exhibition, just massive. 7 minutes of engagement time per user. Again, for any other installation, 7 minutes of engagement time, holding an audience for that long is pretty freaking hard. So I guess they were forced down a trail, so they couldn't really go anywhere else. But nonetheless, it was really, really powerful. And yeah. So we're pretty pumped about how that manifested, which really leads us to today. So after talking to the team, we recognized that it's just so much fun to be able to work together, collaborate with each other, be able to like use this new technology and be able to expose it in different locations, different places. And so what better balance to a force of nature than to have a concrete jungle be the next place that we go to? So we decided to bring it to New York. So there's also this idea, I mean, not idea, but aspiration is every year, September 21st is the UN's International Day of Peace. And so they're under their tenets of what International Peace Day is about really global collaboration, people sharing stories, people taking a moment, a pause to reflect, and just seeing like how much reach Balanced Forces B1 had at Port Moody. We figured let's do this again for International Peace Day. This is a group that is truly global. We have a lot of stories to tell from a lot of different backgrounds, from a lot of different, just the whole spectrum. So, so that's the game plan. Is that's what we're going to be planning on for September 21st is going to be the kickoff. So that's a Sunday. I'm going to be out there. We're also partnering with an organization that is going to be they're going to be doing some like workshops pertaining to the UN's SDGs. So we're going to be out there and we're going to work with them and like some of their venue partners to be like the starting point. But some of the location data or the specific location, like start location for the exhibit is still TBD because we also are trying to figure out there's going to be like stages and there's going to be like roads closed off on that day. And so we just want to make sure that we don't set the artwork up in a place where people can't access it on the day of the event. So, but we're hoping to get some more details in the next 5-6 days on that one. Yeah, and then we're going to be on site capturing all the content, and again, blasting to all the socials, and yeah, we're going to have some new features in the tech as well that will make it a little bit easier for visitors on site, such as the curation where you can walk from we actually can have a setup where you could have like piece 1, piece 2, piece 3, piece 4, so it's like a defined walk versus it being more of a scatter shot of like here's the map, like a random one. So some of that stuff will be coming along. But yeah, so that's kind of what's in the mix. And before I jump into more of like the info pertaining to the studio and the AR creation side and all that good stuff, and then questions, would love to have either JPR or Sven share a couple words. They're also some of the partners on the project. I think I saw that question. Since this is really a collaboration between different again, balanced forces between the ecosystem. So yeah, JBR or Sven, if you have anything you'd like to add, and like where are you coming from, and who are you representing, or yeah, any additional context.
Should I go first? So my name is Sven. Maybe some of you already know me because of the Port Moody exhibition we organized pretty well, initiated by Rob and Crystal mainly, and JBR. She asked me to join this project, and it's growing right now because I'm based here in Hamburg, Germany, and I'm a self-employed graphic designer and founder of the 23 Artists Art Collective and on Twitter or X. I brought in some of our artists for that Port Moody exhibition, and yeah, I'm excited what's coming next. Our team, like Rob, Crystal, JBR, and me, we talked about doing more things, and so New York pops up next, and more will come soon, hopefully. So, and I'm pretty excited to see you all here again, and hope everybody will join. Today I launched a post on X in my art collective, and more of our artists will join the project too. Like the first for the Port Moody, they were a little bit afraid of using AR because they are mainly 2D artists or traditional artists, painting with oil, acrylic, whatever, or acrylic or whatever. And they will join too. So I'm very, very grateful we are growing and expanding and sharing this mission and this idea for the art of love, or for the love of art. Sorry.
That's great. Thank you, Sven. Yeah, JBR, do you have any words?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is JBR, JBR Visuals, and I'm an AI filmmaker, artist, and domestic violence advocate. But also, I'm part of this team as a curator. I was a curator for the Searchlight team back in 2020, where I actually met in 2021. I met illust, I met Rob, and we worked on a couple projects together with the Searchlight team, and it was really, really successful. The very first project we worked together on was actually in NFT NYC for the NFT NYC project in 2021, but in Times Square. And it was really, for me, it was as an artist coming into the digital realm, it was really quite extraordinary to be one of the volunteers that sort of led a crew of people off the street to go to the areas in which the artworks would pop up. And so it was called a pop art call. It was really rad. And I'm just so happy to be back here again, working with illust, working with the 23 artists, working with Sven Rockhouse, who is an incredible force. I mean, she essentially put the Port Moody activations, all, I don't know, 20 to 30 of them together. She's quite a force. I'm so happy to be a part of this. And I'm super happy about what we're about to put together now for NFT, or not NFT, but NYC coming up with United Nations and World Peace Day. So I think that this is really about sparking a dialogue, putting together inspiration, and maybe expanding the way we experience creativity in a public realm. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks, everybody. Good luck on your pieces. I can't wait to see what you do.
Thank you so much, JBR. That was great. Yeah, it really sparked a memory from NFT NYC. It just seeing that we were able to, like, the first idea is this, like, it's a new medium, it's a new technology for experiencing artwork. But what is really coming to light and just seeing some of the works that folks have been using on the platform is this idea is like art as activism. And I think that for given the audience in New York, given the focus around this specific day of peace and in a time that's very contentious, this idea of using art as a force for storytelling is really important. And I really want to dive deep into the stories, the creation process and the reasons and the rationale behind, kind of like the artist's take on what's being produced. So, we've learned a lot from the last exhibition. There's definitely things that we can improve. We definitely have blind spots ourselves. So also, if there's any ideas that y'all might have so that we can make this one really, really connect with everyone in a deeper way. That's the goal, is that we want this digital art to move people, whether it be emotionally or physically. So, with that being said, just a little bit more on just like the augmented reality platform. This might be pretty. You've heard me say this and talk about this before, but there are some new faces here, so I'll just kind of jump into it. Why AR is just such a unique technology is that it actually creates real memories for folks who use it. So physiologically, it creates a sense of presence with you between what you're experiencing, where you are, the smells that you have, what you're seeing, what you might be feeling around. That juxtaposed with the actual underlying content, the art piece, the visualization, the education piece, that creates a real memory, and it makes it that much more connecting to someone when they actually experience it. There's studies where you see a donut ad on a 2D screen or you interact with a 3D donut, you're going to be more hungry for donuts if you see the 3D experience and interact with 3D experience. Just like super TLDR of it. It's a whole study. But because of that, and also the fact that browser-based AR is extremely accessible, we can also reach countries and locations that wouldn't support native AR or like native app-based AR. So it's something that when we're thinking about accessibility, like browser-based AR is one of the most accessible platforms to display and share artwork through. So, and then also because it runs through technology, we also can be able to get some of these insights, such as visibility, time on site, things like that. But yeah. And then, of course, the actual medium of AR isn't going anywhere. I think we saw again earlier with Adobe closing up Aero, they were making a bet on wearable technology and wearable AR as something that was going to come into the future a lot quicker. But we don't need wearable AR to have a good AR experience through the mobile device. So that being said, Meta, Apple, Android, they're still pushing new updates and really tripling down on wearables. So it will come to us eventually. Like wearable based AR will come to us, and it will be a form factor. Just as it took a bunch of time for the Apple Watch to actually have penetration, wearables are just tough. You got to deal with fashion, and then we have a clunky goggle. Not always the most fashionable, unless fashion is catching up to where that technology is going. But that's a whole different conversation. But as far as like young people, they just engage with 3D as that's their native format. Their palette is accustomed to 3D and that's why they spend more time on Roblox than they do on TikTok. That is just how they're world creators or world builders. And so this new audience, when we connect with them through 3D, through AR, we're speaking their language. So maybe that's also because they're the hardest audience to also capture attention from, because we're using old mediums to be able to speak to a new audience. But yeah, so in like terms of like workshopping different ideas, I mean, this is really just kind of like basics of the who, what, where, when, why when you're about to build an experience. Who's going to experience it? How are you trying to connect with them? Where are they going to see it? Why do you want to connect with them in the first place? These are all, just foundational questions to be asking before creating the AR experience and kind of knowing a little bit about the direction of where we're going for this next exhibition. These are just really important questions to be asking. These are, that the how in that formula is really the AR framework. So this it's going to be another art walk. So we're going to be focusing on art walks, but we're also going to be doing like in person will be like the guided tour. So we're not, there could be, if you want to do a hologram of yourself talking about something that's really important to you, by all means use that feature. Like would love to see that. That'd be super rad. But we're going to be doing some like walking tours on site for the exhibition. So yeah, we're going to be doing the how is going to be like a sculpture garden / like art walk. But there's also a bunch of different ways that you can implement AR. You can do image targets or murals. You can do product visualizations. You can create little games, do face effects, things like that. Workflows. This is really interesting. I feel like out of all of like all of the call for submissions or like exhibitions we've been a part of, AI was definitely had like its time in the sun, and it's only getting easier and only getting better, and the artwork is getting really freaking good. So the tools to be able to create are getting much more democratic and much more accessible. And so you don't necessarily need to be a Cinema 4D or a Blender Whiz to be able to produce some really compelling content. So there are some tools like Meshi on the AI front. I think it was Tripo is another one. Polycam for scanning, Luma AI. So and then also like the runways of the world and whatever your workflow might be. Yeah, JBR, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I just was wondering, while we were looking at this content, which is so awesome, and I still love that image, by the way. It's a relatively old piece of work, right? I mean, that's a roughly 5-year old piece of work, I think. How many applications can an artist submit to this call? I was just wondering. And I know that through the selection process, we'll more than likely just select one piece, but how many applications can the artist submit?
Yeah. I don't think, maybe we can talk about it internally, but I don't have the more content, I think the better. Honestly,
I
but
agree, my brother. I agree. You know me. You
yeah,
don't need. Let's fill the streets.
right. Yeah, like if we don't, I mean, because we're gonna select one of the works, and then if there are more than one works that are geo-tethered, uh, let us know. Because maybe what we'll do is we could try, if we have some extra time, we might be able to capture some more of the works that you placed around the city. So, not saying that we're gonna cover all the grounds of New York City. It's a big city, but we'll try our best to try. Like if their works that aren't in the exhibition, we'll try and capture it for you. Just let us know if you have other kind of parallel works or you did your own little mini exhibition from the main exhibition. But yeah, that's kind of where this is kind of like the preliminary chat. Next week's gonna be like the official one where we have like a little bit more specifics. But as of right now, I'm definitely open to more than one piece being submitted. But then I guess JBR and Sven, like you're all are on the curation team, so that's kind of also on your maybe adding more work to you also. Yeah.
I'm down. I'm totally down if Sven's down. I don't. I just want to fill the streets. You know. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Love that. But yeah, so that's been like the big learning is that you don't have to be a seasoned 3D veteran to create something compelling to place in the illust. And so with our platform, again, no code, relatively easy to use. I think we always get better on the usability, but from other platforms that are out there, I guess it's not a very high bar. So, but we can still get better. No app download necessary. The thing that we're hoping is by that period, we're going to be releasing. I'm hoping in the next 2 months we should have our like creator side usable like our blockchain functionality. Something that you can do right now today so that it's not stored on our servers. If you want to sideload through your own server, your content, you can do that. And so you could actually just like have like a URI redirect or URI direct from your server, or even decentralized storage if you're using IPFS or if you're using Arweave. You could use the link from that, and you can feed that into our system, and it'll render. You don't need to use our servers, just FYI. Yeah, and then we also have the customizable map functionality, and we're trying to do better about how we can engage our community. So if y'all have any ideas too, like we're definitely an open book. We want this to be a collaborative process between everyone. Yeah, so basics, again, with AR different modules, we have scale, rotation, position, lighting and shadows, animations, audio, experience names. Then we have material editor, video material streaming video textures. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the studio real quick. So let me go into here. So just real quick, they log in the studio for the first time. This banner right here actually leads to our documentation site that has a bunch of tutorials. So just FYI, if you want to like get like quick access, like more information, this is the spot that has a lot of it. So just click that banner. But yeah, I'm gonna pull up a model. that we're working on. So this is a 3D model that we've been working on. So we have the material editor here on the left. So it's really easy. You just select whatever channel you want to remix, and then you can start playing around with that. You can also add in change out the roughness, metallicness, that kind of stuff. So your basic material editing capabilities. But say I upload the piece, I'm like, I love it already. We're good to go. You upload the 3D model right here versus upload 3D model, or you can switch it between an image, video, text message. We'll go back to 3D model. I want to click that show on maps there. And then this about is actually, this is the artist statement about the work. So it's also something that I forgot to mention in past conversations. It's actually HTML enabled. So if I want to and add a break in the line, I can do that. And then if I want to add some basic elements to it, I can, if you have familiar with HTML, you can add a hyperlink in this section as well, things like that. All the functionality that HTML gives you can do in this area. And then, here's the map. I can click wherever I want on the map for it to live, or I can then punch in an address, or I can use Latmo. Click save, it's saved. But today I want to give a little bit more of a different feature that we have some creators using, but I would love to get some feedback. It's definitely one of our early features that we're trying to get more feedback on. But it's our image targets and marker tracking. So in this case, so we have an image that is we fed the image into the system as this is the we want something to render off of whatever. If the phone sees this, we want something to render off this. It could be an artwork, it could be a mural. In this case, it's a playing card. So this is the still. And then the video, we want the video to be played, which is the video that was uploaded here. We want this video to play off of that card. So, we upload the video. So we go to here into general data and marker tracking. And if you see, this is a live piece. I don't want to change it too much. But if you see, if I move the position, right here, you'll see that I'm actually kind of melting the video into the target. So this is how we do image targets. And I'll show you how it looks. I have an example from the creator who built this piece. Just give me 1 second, pull it up. So this is definitely something that is a feature that if you all want to try it out, by all means. But here's what the end output looks like. So you scan the card, and then boom, now the actual model comes in, rendered off the playing card. So some folks are doing murals, some folks are doing different activations like that. That same artist did one with a magazine cover as well. Might be getting a little off topic here, but I thought these just came up recently as examples that I thought were pretty cool for folks. So you can kind of start playing around with magazine covers and different ads or billboards or things like that. All using the illust platform. But let's go ahead and go back to the 3D model. So these all have kind of attributes that I want. If I want to give it a little bit more, all these are just different modules that you can play around with. So if you don't want to, for the most part, if you only do the general data, it'll get it pretty much most of the way there. But if you want to embellish it a bit more, maybe change the size, one of the biggest little hiccups that I see is that this whole sizing requires spaces between it. So I have to go 2 space 2 space 2 to actually change the size. If I don't do that, it could break it in the AR scene. So that might be a feature that we change in the future just to make it a little bit more usable. But I know that that's something that was a hiccup for some folks. The geofence, this is like the radius that someone can experience it. So right now, if I place that anchor on the beach, so we got the if I place this on say here it is on the pier over in Venice Beach. If I place it right there, and then I set the geofence to be I'll say 20 meters, then basically in theory, I could be like on a boat in the water right here and I could activate the experience. So what it's saying is that 10 meters from this point where I place it, that's the area that I'm able to experience the work of art. We'd recommend in a city type of landscape, especially in New York, sometimes the buildings actually reflect, like bounce the signal a little bit. So I would just keep it at 10. That's to be very safe. I can let you know on site if we can get a little bit more refined with the geofence, but I think 10 meters is pretty safe. It is very safe. That's 30 feet. But we have done activations where we've gone down to about 3 meters in distance, so about 9 feet in like the radius, and that's also worked. But it's been a little bit since we've done a New York activation, so that's just like a heads up. That we'll set that to about 10 as the geofence. Also, don't worry about the 8th wall absolute scaling. That feature is not necessary at this point. And then the global experience means if you want it to override the geofence, that means anyone can see it anywhere they are as long as they open up the URL. So it basically says, we're going to override the geofence. You can just check it out. Yeah, so I think for today, those are some of the things I want to go into. Next week, we'll be probably covering some different, maybe a little bit simpler stuff at the end. But I want to open it up to questions because I know that there's a few of you that did have some questions about the platform, about the exhibition, the whole 9 yards. So I am free to chat.
Rob, I had a question. I think I set my geospacing at 12. Is that still within a sweet spot? I think he froze. Yeah. Yeah. He's froze.
Rob's
All right.
back.
So sorry about that. I got bumped off my own call. Sorry, Gabriel. Like, yes, the 12 is totally fine in the sweet spot. Specifically, is this the activation in Cleveland that you're working on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So just FYI, yeah, Gabriel's working on this really cool activation. It's Haiku Superman. Around the I guess the original filming as well as the comic came from Cleveland and doing like an art tour. But but yeah, you have like the buildings there, like 12 meter radius should be totally fine. I would be interested to see like if you're open to it, bringing that number down to a point where, we're able to make it so it doesn't work.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely play around with that. I think I want to go back in and turn everything to global because, I don't know how many people are going off like the digital placard. So,
Okay.
yeah. So I'll go in and do that later today. But, yeah, thank you. I'm going to be conjuring something up from New York.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Rob, this is PJ. I just had a quick question for you.
Sure.
So I'm just curious. Is there a recording of this? Could we possibly get a copy of this recording?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because there were a couple questions I had that I think were possibly in there, so I hate to have it regurgitated if I missed it. Specifically, it was about the motion, being able to create the motion or utilize what you demonstrate with the cards. I had a couple other projects and ideas that I'd like to share at some point because I think it's they're a great asset. It looks fantastic.
Thank you. Appreciate that, PJ. Yeah, we'll have probably Monday. I'll be able to have it all uploaded to YouTube, and then I can share that with you. And then I'll also include it on our next like newsletter that we do. I think Tuesdays is when we usually have the newsletter go out. Depending on, yeah, we're trying our best to make it a like scheduled thing, but it's always the last thing on our to-do list. We're like, shit, we didn't get that out. So sorry. But anyways, sorry. That's a little too much information. If anyone else have any other questions?
I do. About the image triggers. I was working. Is there an ability to have more than one image trigger inside of one scene? Question mark.
Yeah. So yes and no. Which it's not a helpful answer. We can set up, I believe we can get it set up, LM, where we can do multiple targets, same video or same AR graphic, but I don't know if we can do either one, or it would be multiple graphics, multiple targets. I don't think we can do that quite yet. But I think we can figure out a way to make it so that it's multiple targets, one graphic. That makes sense.
Oh yes, no, that actually is perfecto. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Let's sidebar, and then I'll talk to our dev team, and we'll see what we could jam out.
And then my last follow-up question, with any activations that we currently have in New York, when we are submitting this, would we do a duplicate or would it just be moved to the location that it needs to be? Because like for the $3 bill geotag stuff, there's one that would tie in perfectly with this that I would love to incorporate, but I didn't know, should I duplicate it just specifically for this or should I just relocate it?
I would relocate it. If you would like to, you could submit your work to our geospatial registry, and we could create an on-chain placement for when it was at the last location. So that way, when you move it, you could then mint the location again. So you can kind of like create a timestamp of where it's been in the world.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Hi, Rob. I have a question. This is Heteru. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hey.
Good. By all means.
Yeah, I was wondering, like for if you're using a QR code, like say on a screen or something at an event, like how far away do people need to be from the screen, or is that doable in that type of setting?
Yeah, that's a good question. We don't really have much control over the QR codes. because that's really like built into the phone and your camera. So I'd probably, like, if we were doing a deployment, I would probably just try and test it out, or I'd print it somehow, and then try and go as far back. It's kind of like a very crude way of testing, but I think that's at least going to give you like the best results. So you'll know for a fact if you're doing something that's live. So I don't really have like an answer for how far of a distance you can go with the QR code, but with the image target, it can, if you have enough differentiation in like color. So the way like a QR code works is that you have the black and the white, which has that discrepancy, and you have that like differential between the contrast between the two, which your phone can pick up really well. And at distance, it generally does pick up pretty decently at distance because that contrast is so obvious. It's the same way, it's the same technology, it's computer vision, that doing an image target, say on like a mural or on like a presentation or like what I was showing on like a playing card, it's the same idea where if you have enough of that contrast between colors, then it'll pick it up pretty decently. So I hate that my response is that you'll have to test it out and kind of figure it out for yourself. But I think like that's at least what I'm comfortable saying, because I don't want to overpromise and say, oh, 20 feet, and then you print it out, it's all ready to go, and then it doesn't work. So yeah, if that's helpful at all.
Are you saying it has to be printed out, or it can just be projected on the screen?
It could totally be projected on the screen. Yeah. But I would recommend for any deployment that you test out what the end use of it will be like. So if you're printing it, if you're adding it to a screen, I would try and test it on a screen. If you're printing it out, I would try and test it on a printout. I'd try and always test for like the exact experience that the user will have. But I don't necessarily have too much insight into QR codes and distances with phones, but I imagine it's pretty darn good. But
It is. And if you're using the QR scanner on your phone instead of just your camera's phone, depending on which phone you have, you can get even more distance. But it really depends on if you're in a lighting, it depends on the lighting, the situation, if the QR is small or big, but you can totally scan from any phones, printouts, or things of that nature.
super helpful, Alan.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you, LM.
Yeah, the lighting, that's a really good point about lighting. So for your phone to pick things up, it needs to have good light for the most part. Our system works where we're using GPS, so we can kind of approximate where things need to be. But based on lighting, that's the more lighting is always the better for AR.
I was just thinking like natural lighting, like outdoors.
Either way should be good. As long as it's not as like, if the QR code's blown out because it's so bright, then that might be kind of difficult. But that would be if you have like a light source directly on the QR code. So things to be aware of. Or if you have, say it's super bright outside, but you have the QR code in like an alley that's shadowed, that might be kind of difficult too, because the shadow might be prohibiting it. So just try and kind of find that like not too hot, not too cold kind of placement.
My last question is about the holographic technology and how I can like integrate that. I mean, I can use a video and do it, but what would you suggest with that?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a really great iPhone, iPad app that you can do, like it automatically creates a green screen for you. And if you like set it up on, something stable, you can get a full recording of yourself with a green screen behind you. And then you can take that right into our studio and then key out the green. So at risk of pausing and freezing my screen, I'm not able to really share, but we do have that hologram tutorial on how to do that. it's still going to be 2-dimensional because it's a video. But nonetheless, you still have that immersion factor with the end audience, even though it's 2 dimensions. Because you're still within the 3D environment itself. So that was really successful when we did it with the 4 seasons, and we have folks that are using it today for other things. But
Where would I access those videos or that information?
oh yeah, absolutely. I'll share the tutorial specifically for it's called Launch a Hologram for an Event. And if you go to this page right here, there's a bunch of tutorials of like the face effects, like audio reactive, basic worlds, leaving a message, and holograms. And then we should be working on one for the image targets here pretty soon too, which was what I was sharing with the animations off image. But yeah.
So that information is all in the app, right?
I just sent in the chat here. But if you go to the application, there's a big banner that's like pink and like purplish, and it says new to illust. Check out our docs for tutorials, something like that. But it's a big banner when you log into the studio that you can click on that, and it'll go right to the doc tutorials.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Anyone else have questions? Comments? Thoughts? Sweet. Oh, Jay in the box. Can you drop mark points along a path like digital breadcrumbs every 50 to 100 meters? Stretching out over 2-3 miles, each spot stays locked in place for a set time. So you can do all of that. While we can't necessarily do like time scheduled yet, but you could definitely set up everything in like a cadence directionally. But yeah, the time schedulable art pieces I think can be a really cool feature when, say, you have to be somewhere within 24 hours to activate. It can get pretty fun. We do have time baked into our system. So there is that element of it, as I was talking about with LM and her work that's already in New York, where it's time stamped as well as the geolocations added to the blockchain. So we do have time, but yeah, I think that's something that if that's a feature that y'all are really interested in, scheduling artwork, it's something that we could try and move up in our dev roadmap. But cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, time can definitely add some gamification, make it a little ephemeral, create a little bit of entropy in the system, if you will. Oh, awesome. Sweet. Well, we're just drawn to a close. I think I got 3 more minutes. If anyone has any last minute questions, JBR just dropped the link to the new open call in the chat. We're gonna have 4 sessions each Wednesday, same time, same place, more or less. And we'll do some new workshops. Yeah, I really appreciate y'all jumping in for Balanced Forces E2, New York City for UN's International Day of Peace. And yeah, excited to see what y'all come up with. Yeah, Vanessa?
Yeah, I just have a question about that in terms of submitting a piece. So thematically, you're obviously is focused on world peace, and because I'm going to create a piece for it, so I'm just trying to gauge what you're.
Yeah, amazing. So we are completely open to all facets of human experience with this one. We are like, there's definitely folks who are in war-torn countries who are going to be submitting works for this one. So, if it could be about everything from conflict to rehabilitation to redemption to really the spectrum of human experience. If the story resonates with you and it's something that you want to share, you think that can connect with someone on an emotional level, we want to hear those stories. We want to broadcast those stories. Like, it's really a rallying around what is our shared human experience across countries, no matter where you are. So whatever that comes to mind. I know it's like a big idea, but this is a time for us to share it. So
Yeah. If I may add a little bit to that, Rob, if you don't mind, it's really what the conflict is within yourself. And I think that when you describe and picture that, especially in an AR experience, I guarantee you that people will relate to your story. So whatever that means, it can be anything that you internally have, an emotional response to, or an internal conflict with, or even if it can be as broad as from personal to sort of a global issue. It can be worldwide spread of humanity not perhaps meeting the level of what humanity that you want to see. It can be anything from hunger to domestic violence. I mean, anything that you feel strongly and passionate about as an artist or a creative, and you want that word spread. I mean, peace is that's what peace is, right? So whatever you think that is.
well said, JVR.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. My last question is, can you go over the QR code creation again in your application?
Yeah. Right now we're just kind of hitting the time. But I'm happy to stick around, Vanessa, if you just want to quickly jam on a couple troubleshooting things. But I just want to again thank everyone for joining the chat. We're gonna probably just go into some nuanced questions right now, but y'all are really what makes this platform work, and I'm excited to see again what y'all work on. So thank you so much. And yeah, Vanessa, and I think maybe Carla might have some questions too. They're like more specific if she's still on here. But have a good rest of your day.
Boom, ding, dong.